Okay. Guys, go when you're ready.
Okay, here we go. Welcome into your Tuesday edition of Sports Tonight. I'm Bailey Burmaster alongside Aaron Ladd. Back for another edition.
Same crew, back-to-back days.
Back-to-back days. That rarely happens, but that's what happens when you have a slower week where football is concerned. Slower?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We are coming on the air with some breaking news. You knew Max Fried probably was not going to stay here. There was speculation that he was going to get a lot more money elsewhere, and that is exactly what happened. He, according to multiple outlets, but I believe ESPN had it first. That's who I saw it have first. 8-year deal, $218 million, most guaranteed money in baseball history. Initial thoughts?
Not surprised. We knew after he declined the Braves qualifying offer that it probably wasn't going to happen. It was trending in that direction. Braves had to just say the right thing the whole time. Yeah. And this is not surprising if you're an Atlanta Braves fan because they've done this now with Dansby Swanson and Freddie Freeman. Max Fried just the next in line for that. While baseball isn't a salary cap sport, the Braves are a team that operates with a quasi-salary cap. This was not a way they wanted to spend money, and these two sides go their separate ways.
It's sad because I do feel like Max Fried is a beloved Brave, just like Freddie Freeman was.
Especially for that run, yeah.
Yeah, and just like Dansby was. But eventually, you feel like you might have more for less, money-wise. And you have to make decisions, hard decisions.
The Braves have money. Like we got to stop. And the Braves, we fall for the whole thing where they're like, oh, well, you know, Liberty Media and all this. They got the battery. They got money. They've had the best attendance record for the past 3 or 4 years.
But also, I do believe they should be spending that money elsewhere. I think your pitching staff is one of the deeper aspects of your team. Do you really want to see Max Fried leave? No. But I also do think there's maybe other needs in the lineup.
The Braves are a bargain bin organization. They're not going to spend top dollar money. Even the Chris Sale move, they got him in a trade for, I believe it was, Vaughn Grissom at the time, and Chris Sale was coming off injury, so he already wasn't seen the same way that he was. Obviously now coming off a Cy Young win. That's what they do. That's usually what AA and the front office, as far as Atlanta is concerned, They try to make deals that don't break the bank to where they can kind of spread the wealth around evenly. And they've locked up their young core. They have spent money on the guys that have performed here. I'm thinking of an Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies. But it hurts, Bailey. It hurts every offseason when you see cornerstone after cornerstone leave to go to another team. And what I thought was a huge championship window for the Braves after 2021, like they got these guys locked up. They got guys set in stone. I would like to see them just get back to an NLCS at this point.
And I think they would tell you this, that they squandered some opportunities. I don't think this past season is one of those opportunities because of all the injuries they truly faced and how much they had to move. It was a miracle they even made the playoffs. But I think you go back to the years before in the NLDS against the Phillies, who just owned them, they would tell you, we squandered some opportunities. But such is life, such is the industry, such is baseball. I'm sure there will be a lot more moves happening as winter meetings get underway throughout the week. But it will be interesting to see what the Braves do. Because if you remember, when they got Chris Sale, people were kind of like, oh.
It was not a very high-sung move.
No.
I wonder, specifically to the NL East, which seemingly always has a team that's in that Final Four. You think of the Phillies, the Mets swinging for what they did and just spent and the money they just committed to Juan Soto. I wonder when the Braves just make their move. Obviously, Max Fried going to the Yankees.
But do you really see the Braves ever making a Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani move?
Not at all.
Okay.
But what is their move going to be? We know they need
They're going to do something.
We know they need outfield help. Yep. We know they need another bat in the lineup. We want to see what Ronald Acuna is going to look like when he comes back from injury.
Him and Strider.
If they could just get those guys back healthy, then you don't need to make a huge move because you got two All-Stars back.
It is crazy. Like, I know we talked about it ad nauseum during the season, but the injuries this team really did deal with.
Do you think the rotation is that deep? Back to your point earlier.
For pitching?
Because you think Strider comes back healthy, and then you have
Strider,
Reynaldo Lopez,
Sale,
Chris Sale.
Ronaldo Lopez. That's a great three right there. They had Charlie Morton last year. Who had up and
Schwellenbach.
down.
Do we say
yeah.
Schwellenbach?
What about Grant Holmes? Are we giving Grant Holmes acknowledgement?
See, I still would like another vet in that mix. I still would like a guy like you're losing a lot of innings pitched, not only in the regular season but in the playoffs as well. When Max Fried walks out that door, like the rotation shrinks when you get into the playoffs. It's 2 or 3 deep back into your bullpen.
You have to remember AJ Smith-Shawver was someone who was highly talked about last spring training. He got hurt. I believe it was oblique, and that kept him out for a long time. I wonder if they're curious what his ceiling is, if he can get healthy and really shine.
Stop being cheap, Braves. Stop being cheap, man. I get it. You got young guys. You want to invest in them. Stop
I would
being
just like
cheap.
to point out, you're not going to win with Aaron Ladd.
Stop
Because,
being
listen, the
cheap.
Braves are cheap, and then the Falcons made a boo-boo decision by paying Kirk Cousins money. So just know
That's
he's
the
gonna
best part
find
about
an
being
argument.
behind the mic.
He's
going
going
to
to find an argument.
Just critique.
So just ride the wave. Ride the wave. All right. Speaking of riding the wave, there were a lot of articles I read today.
What'd you read? I didn't have a chance to read anything.
People think Raheem Morris isn't handling the Falcons quarterback situation
Wow.
correctly.
Imagine that. Oh, my gosh. Why did the article say that? What was their reasoning behind?
I'm not going to lie to you. We had the Max Fried breaking news, and I didn't have time to finish reading it before I got on air. I'm not going to lie to you. But it drove the thought process deeper into what truly is the right decision for this organization moving forward. And for the fans that really want to see Penix, I am just genuinely curious, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, but do you genuinely think that is what is best for this organization? Long term, not short term.
Not right now. No. I do not think it is.
I'm actually surprised you kind of outright said that.
I do not think it is the right move, not only for the Falcons organization, but just for Michael Penix and his career development in general. He would be forcing. He would come in with a win-now mindset, and I don't think that benefits him in the growth of his career to come in with the guise of you need to resurrect what is a team in the middle of a 4-game losing streak, a team that's at risk of basically falling right flat on their face. You want to give him a situation where he has a long runway. He doesn't have to take off within the first 100 yards. He can make his rookie mistakes and it not be catastrophic to what the hopes of the season are. At the same time, kind of what we spoke on yesterday, you need to make a firm decision about what the future of Kirk Cousins is and just kind of stick with that as well. You can't waffle anymore.
But don't you think, I don't know, and maybe I just am seeing it differently. I think they are making their decision about Kirk Cousins. I think this gives them every reason, as soon as the offseason hits, to say, hey, man, it's an open job. We're going to give Penix a real look. So whatever you bring during training camp, you better bring it. I think this opens the door, because think about it. Whether you want to go to Cousins in the second or third year, at some point you're going to have to open the door. But the door opens itself if Kirk Cousins isn't playing. And I said this, I think it was before you got here, when people were harping on this decision. I get it. You paid Kirk Cousins a lot. Now you have a quarterback. What was the point? But this is an organization outside of Matt Ryan
Oof, don't do it.
that has struggled to have a quarterback. By having 2 options, you, in their eyes, have set yourself up that you can't fail. One is going to succeed. Now, I get the aspect of one must fail for the other to succeed, but this is actually perfect. Because you bring in Kirk is your guy the entire season, and if he ends up failing on his own and not at the hands of, an organization that doesn't have the right pieces or the right head coach, it naturally opens the door to be able to pivot to Penix.
I just don't know if it's perfect, because you are currently currently sacrificing the success of this year's team by using the capital that you invested in Penix and having him just sit on the bench. You could have used that capital on Dallas Turner. You could have used that capital on an edge rusher to try and improve the current defense the way it stands right now.
But isn't that a risk worth taking if the other option is damaging your potential future because you've shaken this quarterback's confidence early, who's just not quite ready? I would take the other.
It's a tough situation to be in. I think everything could be solved by winning a few more ball games.
Yes.
We're not having a lot of these
Yes.
conversations if the
Yes.
Falcons handle business in New Orleans, on the road in Denver, at home again. against Seattle, at home against the Chargers,
Keep going.
on the road against Minnesota. I think a lot of the issues that we're talking about, maybe we're not talking about them if some of the results that were left on the field. I mean, 12 penalties this last week, those are things that the quarterback isn't, that's out of his control. So then we go back to Raheem, then we go back to his staff, then we go back to Jimmy Lake. What are some things that they can do to kind of get the most out of what the team currently is, what Kirk Cousins currently is, not what Michael Penix will be down the road, but how can we maximize what the team currently is to get the best result?
Raheem Morris talked on Monday via Zoom to media members about Kirk, about the penalties, and about the Raiders and how they might see Desmond Ridder. So let's tune into what he had to say.
When we back out there, it's 35-21, and realistically, we got a chance to go down there and score. You know, we're right back in this thing with a potential onside kick to try to go win that football game in Minnesota, where he's from. I wanted Kurt to finish that game out for us, and that was just the mindset that I was in at that day and at that time. You know, I wasn't into the mode of getting Mike game reps at that moment because I felt like it was one of those things where we had a chance to still go win the football game and keep our guy in the game and try to go win it.
Yes, and Raheem, Kirk, as everybody knows, hasn't been playing up to his expectations and probably your expectations. As you evaluate that, I mean, if it gets to a point where you feel like Michael gives you the best chance, would you have any hesitation in doing that?
This is a very tricky way of asking us who's our quarterback, Mike. I like that. It's for sure Kurt, you know, our quarterback, but I have no hesitations in what our young man has been doing and how he's been preparing and the things that he's ready to do. So if that time ever came, I would have a lot of confidence in what Mike's able to do, but Kurt's our quarterback. Kurt's the guy that's going to lead us. We still got a big time opportunity coming up here on Monday Night Football with Kurt leading us, and I'm fired up to go out there and get us to go play better.
Thank you.
Mark Raimondi.
Hey, Raheem.
Hey, Mark.
Just wondering, you know, and I'm not sure how much you've watched yet of yesterday, but what are the things that stand out to you as far as what's been happening over the last 4 games compared to, you know, the first 9 games where you guys were rolling pretty well? I mean, what are the things that kind of stand out to you? Because obviously there is a difference there.
Mark, the biggest thing when you talk about overall production is the turnovers. You know, the turnovers in the National Football League will absolutely kill you. The penalties, we've been really good all year, and yesterday in particular, and like we talked about in a couple of those games right before the bye, that we wanted to clean up some of those things in the red zone in particular, have been absolutely killing us. That reared its ugly head yesterday. Whether you agree or disagree with the penalties, it doesn't really matter. You got to find ways not to get them, and we got to do a better job of doing those things. So really, it's been the turnovers, the penalties, and yesterday in particular, which was kind of an anomaly for most of the season, was the big plays that we gave up in the secondary. And it was big plays that we could have stopped some, and there were some that we should have had play opportunities on that we did not make, whether it was a missed sack that turned into a scramble and leaving a guy uncovered, or whether it was a ball thrown up on a flutter on an underthrow that we couldn't track. And then there are ones that they earned, right? The ones that they caught on down the sideline or got a penalty. You can live with those, but the ones you got a chance to make, you got to go out there and make those in the secondary. So those are the 3 things yesterday that came up. And like you mentioned, just over the last couple of weeks, it's been the turnovers, and the turnovers have absolutely been killing us, and we got to find ways to limit those things.
And one of the things that you mentioned, you know, after the Chargers game too, was the turnovers. Specifically, you know, Kirk, he had the 4 interceptions, and I remember you were asked, I think, you know, what is the improvement that you're going to be looking for from Kirk, and I think you answered limit the turnovers.
Yes.
He had 2 more interceptions. I mean, does that what is the message going to be this week? And you know, can you guys live with if that continues with you know, that play, those turnovers?
No, you can't live with it at all. You know, you got to eliminate the turnovers. So that message has to remain the same, you know, but it wasn't just Kurt yesterday. Kurt had the 2 interceptions, one early in the game on a play action pass, and he had one late in the game going to Kyle over the middle on a 0-S type play that he got to put a better ball on Kyle. And then we had, you know, obviously the one that was just dreadful and just kind of got the game out of whack was the one on the kickoff return. And basically we had a 4th with the giving them the ball back on the penalty that we got on the field goal block team, basically giving them the short field and 2 opportunities to go out there and score touchdowns that we could have taken away. So realistically, I counted as a 4 turnover day again, and those things that just killed us yesterday was part of the reason it didn't go our way.
Zach Klein.
Hey, Rod. After the Chargers game, Kirk said, nothing is given, everything is earned, and that's the way he treats the week. So it's safe to say that Michael hasn't earned the right from what you've seen him in practice to start, that he's just not ready, and that you're hoping that Kirk just turns into Kirk, and this 4-game stretch is just an aberration. As opposed
I don't think. I don't want to speak for Kirk because I didn't really hear the quote, but I don't think he was referring to Michael. I probably was referring more to himself.
He was, yeah, it was for sure. It was for himself.
He's probably referring to himself, and
Correct.
I don't equate that to Michael at all. I just think, Kurt was the guy that led to a 6-3 record, and we got to find a way to get out of this funk and get it back going down the end of the stretch, which we believe that we can do. We went out to get this young man to lead us to the playoffs and give us an opportunity to get in the playoffs and play significant football in December, and we're doing that. And we got to find a way to snap out of it and really go. And Kurt has earned a lot in this league, and I think he's trying to earn it every single day. And I got a lot of respect for how he goes about his process, how he learns, how he reads, how he thinks, how he does everything. And for us, it's going to be his opportunity to go out there and right the ship. And we got to give him that opportunity, and he's earned it.
Taryn?
Hey, Raheem, there's a lot of talk already about. Can you hear me?
I can, Taryn.
A lot of talk already pregame about Desmond Ridder getting an opportunity to start for Vegas. Obviously, pre your regime here in Atlanta, what have you seen from him career-wise to get him back into a position to start in the NFL? And what do you try to do to limit him on Monday?
I don't know who's going to be the starter. Obviously, Aiden O'Connell got some really good news today. I heard that is not as bad as we all thought with the air cast going on and things of that nature. But, Dez, when he was here, obviously I got a chance to meet him in a short window that he was here. Great young man, great person. Obviously, he got a unique talent with the arm with arm talent. And just like all these just young quarterbacks, they need opportunities to go out there and play. And if he gets an opportunity to go out there and play, I'm sure he'll have a full practice week. He'll be able to prepare the right way and get ready for us, a familiar opponent, some people he know. And
All right, so a familiar voice there, hearing from Raheem Morris. I was just curious what that's like. I mean, obviously the NFL, these are close-knit fraternities. Everybody knows everybody, but to have the quarterback that you drafted to come in and it didn't work out, go to
Raheem
another
didn't
team.
draft him, to be fair.
The organization drafted, came in, didn't work out, now potentially has a chance to get revenge on you. In kind of this weird spot start primetime game. It's also a double dip Monday night situation that we got. Look, if Ridder beats the Falcons, it's dark.
If I'm a Falcons fan, yeah. I don't know how you return from that. I don't have much to say. I really do hope that it's him. And I do hope the Falcons show up to play. Otherwise, it's going to be a brutal showing for Monday Night Football.
Dez is a nice guy. I never covered him or anything.
Great guy. Could not speak higher about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, when you fumble a lot and throw interceptions, this is the NFL, and it is.
The Raiders are a bad team, though, Bailey.
Terrible.
The Vikings
Talk about
lost,
a quarterback
sure.
issue.
Yeah, the Vikings lost, sure. They're one of the best teams in the NFC.
I get it. I understand why Devontae Adams was like, someone, please save me. Do not let me rot here.
I do think I do think the losing streak ends here if I had to guess.
That's a hot take.
Is it?
No. Sarcasm. Anyways, something else going on Saturday before you get to your Monday Night Football. Celebration Bowl. MEAC for SWAC.
Yes, Jackson State versus South Carolina State. This is the kickoff to the bowl season. It is the HBCU championship game. Noon kickoff on ABC. You're going to hear from Jackson State head coach T.C. Taylor here. They had the SWAC championship game this past week, all the conference championships, while South Carolina State, they've been off for like 2.5 weeks now, so maybe that's another storyline entering this one. Let's hear from Jackson State ahead of the Celebration Bowl game.
Wow. It's just to be sitting right here now, SWAC champs, undefeated in the conference. Just a great feeling right now, and then to be able to host a SWAC championship game and for these guys to come out and, the way we played in that first half and then come out in the second half and get it done that way and convincingly it feels great. It feels great. I mean, they listen. You know, they listen. I stay on them. I stay on them. Talking about playing in December, and they was ready for this moment. They was ready for this moment. You know, hats off to Southern though. You know, they came out and played their butts off in that first half. You know, really gave us fits offensively. They played with some tempo. You know, gave us fits with their defensive line came out on fire tonight. You know, we had to figure out ways at halftime to come out and, you know, just put these guys away. But, you know, the two guys on each side of me, I can't say enough about Zy McDonald right now and Rob McDaniel. For those guys to come out here and play the way they play, you know, Zy come off the bench, you know, cold. And that was a pivotal drive to go down there and get a touchdown in the first half at the end of that half. I mean, that was pivotal. You know, we were down. You know, we needed that spark. And he came out there and took us down the field. You know, I just saw the look in his eyes, and he was ready to go. Rob came out and played a different position tonight. You know, he showed, you know, scouts that, you know, how versatile he is, NFL scouts, to play cornerback and go out there and make the plays that he made, you know, with the physicality they played with. But it was just a great job overall. I'm so pleased right now as the head coach, the leader of this team. I'm so excited for these coaches. You know, they've been working their butts off the last couple weeks getting ready for this day. So, I mean, it's a great place to be in, great time to be a Tiger.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We're going to open the floor for questions first for our student athletes. Go ahead, Doc.
Dr. Will, inside the HBCU Sports Lab, this is for you in regards to, talk a little bit about your mindset. You know, we always hear about your time was going to be ready, but you had not just the one before half, but then you come back in the second half and have a big drive that actually gives you the lead. Talk about that mindset and what you go into the game. What were you able to see to make those two big drives?
First and foremost, I just want to say all glory to God, because I couldn't have did nothing without him. I promise, this is all him. But my mindset was just go out there and play my game. You know, trust the coaches, trust their plan, trust my teammates. And, you know, just have them boys rally around me. And, you know, just lead them down the field so we can score and win the game.
David. Hey guys, David Elstein with WJTV, CBS station here in Jackson. Congrats on the win. Zai, I just want to ask you, you know, local grad, you were on the team last year. Quarterback competition's been a thing for a while, and obviously not too much playing time. But when you get in this game here, what was that like to be so prepared and to immediately make that kind of an impact on the team, like Coach just said?
Just trusting God, trusting my craft, trusting these coaches. You know, the time that we put in all throughout the year, working our butts off. So I just, you know, just continue to trust my coaches, trust myself, and just trust my teammates.
And what was that like when Coach walked up to you? What was that interaction like to say, hey, you're in?
He was just letting me know. He was like, be ready. Come on, let's go out there, let's go. And I was ready for it.
Robert, what did you see out there today?
From what I've seen, it was the main point of this week was just our coach wanted us to dominate, and I feel as though we went out there and dominated, especially coming, you know, hosting a SWAC championship game. It was definitely a blessing to be in this spot, and I'm just happy that we were just able to go out there and handle business, you know, going our next stop to Atlanta.
Mike Washington, Dr. Bills inside the HBCU Sports. Rob, just to follow up on that, two interceptions, solid game against some of their best receivers. Was it anything that you saw in their offense, you know, that you know, clued in, or were you just clued in? And tell us through your thought process through that.
Honestly, they're really a simple team. I was really just clued in. I knew they were just going to take their shots, and I just felt a little disrespect not making all conference or all American. I just wanted to make this a statement game, you know, giving all the glory to God, because without him, I won't be here right now today. So I'm just happy I was able to go out there and execute and do my part to bring us a championship.
Good job.
I'll for you as well. I know I kind of saw you got a little emotional when they called your name, you know, for this award right there. Just talking about that feeling when you heard your name be called and get that recognition.
It's just been a long grind. Like I said, I couldn't have been there without my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and just being able to be in this position is just crazy. My first ever championship. I just appreciate Coach TC for bringing me back in and trusting him, trusting the coaches, trusting the process, and I'm just happy that we were just able to go out there and just, you know, this ain't even just a me award. It was a team award. I wouldn't have been able to get, you know, what I got without them. So, choose to my team.
Yeah, Zai, for you, you know, just finding that rhythm in the offense when you were thrown into the game. Just talk about that and, you know, what it means to be ready in the moment.
Just every day go out there and practice and just competing like I'm the starter. You know, that's my mindset every day. And then once we got out there in the game, you know, it was just like practice. I was comfortable. Once coach called plays to help me find the rhythm, it just felt like playing in the backyard as a kid.
Final questions for our student athletes. Last question.
HBCU Overdrive, Doc Holliday. So Rob, going from Alcorn coming to Jackson and then coming on to a championship team, what was your mindset going into this game? As far as like what you said with the snub from the conference teams and everything like that.
My new coach TC, he brought me back in for a reason, and he told me once I had signed there, we're bringing a championship back, and I wholeheartedly believed that moment we was gonna have the team, we was gonna have the effort, the execution was gonna be there. All we have to do is trust the process, trust God, and keep working.
Appreciate it, guys.
Congratulations.
Stay.
Kendall's gonna take you to block.
Good job, guys.
Skipping to what is on your mind because we're running out of time here. You want to start or you want me to start?
I can go. It's
Okay.
not sports related.
I
I'm
have
going
two.
to
One is sports related and one is not.
just shout out music. Shout out SZA. 2 years of SOS, one of my favorite albums of all time.
Great
She
album.
just announced a deluxe for it, coming out soon. Lana, after her real name. Really excited for that, and really excited for the show as well. Come down on those tickets. Would be nice. It's at Mercedes-Benz. Her and Kendrick Lamar.
I was about to say, did you cop tickets for it?
No.
I thought, what are the prices?
They're doing like this whole like club finesse where it's like you could sit here for $100 less, or you could sit here and have like closer bathrooms and do all that. We'll see. I'm waiting for them to come down. The show's not until April 29th, so we have time.
Yeah. At least they're not like Taylor Swift
No,
prices
they're not.
or Beyonce tickets.
I would not be watching.
Because
I
that
would
is
not be
just a lot. Two things that are on my mind. First of all, quarterback Joe Burrow's home was broken into during Monday Night Football. Crazy. I don't know if it's correlated to all the break-ins that have been happening lately.
Yeah.
That have seemed targeted. So that's really scary and weird. Can you just imagine anyone knowing where you live?
It's bad. Being around the Chiefs for a little bit, you saw just kind of the circus around Travis Kelce and just not. You take for granted sometimes your safety, really, when people just don't know when to stop following you.
No. The other thing that has just been overtaking my mind has been the gunman in the United Healthcare CEO shooting.
In a good way or a bad way?
I don't know. I go down TikTok holes of like, very tinfoil conspiracy theory type things.
I'm listening.
And I think it's fishy. I have never obviously committed murder or would ever think about it.
Nice save.
When you
it's exactly what a murderer would say.
but think about it. When you watch murder mysteries, read books, shows, movies, first order of business is getting rid of the weapon.
There's some things that
So he just like
aren't
gets
adding
caught
up.
at a McDonald's with the gun? I don't know.
It's like 3D printed or something like
That
that.
is crazy.
This is like our submarine. Like, remember the submersible from last year, and everybody was like
I think this is crazier.
enthralled.
Also, who are we as a society? The way
We badly need to go back to reading.
no, we need
Drop the
we need to get
internet.
rid of social media. We need
fine
to
with
go
that as
back
well.
to getting outside.
Touch
Maybe
grass.
run marathons. Ask Aaron about it.
All right.
But it's, I don't know, as a society, I'm very concerned about us and some of the avenues we go when things break
See, I thought you were
news.
going to admit it. Finally, you were going to come clean about your crush on him.
I mean, do you want me to say he's an attractive man like everyone in the world has? Yes, but that does not mean I condone.
Okay.
I don't know what
didn't think that
allegedly
meant
schmurder. I'm doing TikTok terms now.
Oh my gosh, yo.
So yeah, I think the whole case is very weird. And I just find it fascinating. So I've been reading a lot about it.
I didn't know we were still making Luigi's either. I thought that was one of those names that just like, like Geraldine or like.
But to my point, Luigi's the sidekick. He's not the main man.
Maybe
so
that's why
where's
he's
Mario?
making so many mistakes. Get Mario on the job next time.
Or is it like the Monopoly money? Everything is so weird. I think we can all agree it's just a really, really wild case. But this is a sports program, so we're going to keep it sports related for the most part. That does it for your sports tonight. Join us on Wednesday's edition. We'll have all the latest headlines. Aaron will be off, so you won't see him.
I'll be back Friday.
He'll be back Friday. Thanks for watching.